Good morning. We have another counselor candidate in Qualicum Beach here this morning to chat on CBC, Court Brooker chat. And again, Jean Young. I have met her before and have done one of these years ago live. So I have met Jean, and I know her probably a little more than the other candidates, which is not a lot, but in passing. But good morning, Jean. Thanks for spending this time with us. We'll get right to it because you're in your shop today. You're a hardworking lady, lots of activity, and right in the downtown core of Qualicum Beach. I'd like you to describe quickly what you see as the largest challenge when you become counselor. You're going to have a pile of challenges, by the way, but what do you think the biggest challenge is going to be for you when you step in that role?
Let's see, just to maybe get caught up to date with all that they're involved in, getting them to give me all the homework so that I am on the same level as they are on everything, up to date. And it's just so important to have that open communication and that teamwork of working together to get the positive results. I also look forward to not just the teamwork, but also for our council to be real transparent. So maybe we can eliminate some of the FOI requests that have been coming into town hall recently. And, you know, once we have good communication and collaboration with the public and that transparency, I think we can get a lot done and deal with the issues that come forward.
Great. Would you care to expand a little bit on what you see as your strengths, abilities, and skills that you have to bring to the job?
I believe that I'm like just the most accessible person. I'm here in downtown Qualicum Beach in the heart of town. I'm open 7 days of the week. I fully intend for, as counselor, that it would be my full-time job. I'd be at my desk doing the paperwork or going to meetings, and I would have a sales associate working the sales floor. And I would dedicate my time to all council.
By the way, in the job, I often think management job, some people don't think there's a lot of work, but I actually think there's a large amount in your position, in any management position, is a reading and comprehension of a lot of material. That is very time consuming, and that's good. Yeah.
I'd also like to say that it's not just the time for the meetings. I hope to be able to constantly be using time to do the research about other communities around us and seeing what works for other communities, and hopefully have some new ideas for our own community. But this would be my top priority as counselor, is devoting my time and my energy into my job as counselor.
Great points, great points. Outside of the job, your store, to get to know you personally a little bit, what would a personal challenge be for you? The biggest personal challenge in your life would be at this point?
You know, I don't think I have any challenges because I raised my 3 children. And so I'm an empty nester except for Oscar and a couple of goldfish. So I'm good to go.
Okay. You're a little younger than me, but I'm pretty lucky. I don't have a lot of challenges. I'm retired, no kids at home. All the kids take care of themselves. But I get a challenge. I get a sore shoulder sometimes. You know, it aches. That's a hell of a challenge for me.
You know what? Our town has great physiotherapists, and I can turn you on to some good ones. No worries there. I mean, and that's what is the beauty of our town. I think we do have a lot of good professional services, but there is a lot lacking, like in the medical field. We certainly could use more doctors and access to doctors in a way of a clinic, or that would be, you know, something that really would like to look forward to doing and having in our community.
All of the province of BC is a shortage of doctors, all medical doctors. There's not adequate mental health facilities, but there's, I don't know what the solution is. I don't know what counselors can do because they're not there to get. How do you get these people? And anyways, if there is a solution, that seems to be an issue in the community for many. I'm fortunate. I currently have a doctor, but some people, the doctor leaves and then you're left floating. And now you mention that, I see the doctor thing being a little bit of a challenge, but I'm not so sure what a counselor can do to maybe help. Maybe they can, but thank you for that one. And now those are the three questions I've asked the other candidates. And I think it gives people, hopefully they're a little off, and we see your professional material handouts. If we go online, we can see more about you. You can find out more about Jean and other candidates online. And but this is a little different. They get to see you almost like you're standing in my doorway and we're having a chat. And I'm hoping that some other people get the same out of this as I do. So after those, you've answered the questions fairly smoothly and rapidly. That's great. And the floor is open. The rest of the 10-minute portion of this is open to anything you'd like to chat with me about and share with others. It's open, Jean. You've
Okay.
Go.
I'd like for everyone to know that I'm nonpartisan. When I've been asked questions like, do I support this big development? And it's a yes or no, I always say it depends. I mean, we've seen some beautiful proposals out there, and we certainly need the housing to be more. The proposals have also going to be a boost to our economy, a bigger tax base. They're hiring local, which is wonderful. But I also want to see how it affects our community as far as environmental studies, making sure there's sewer line accessibility. Like, look at Campbell River. They had just recently this development where people couldn't go into the houses they bought because they didn't have a proper sewer hookup. So I'd like to see the details and of any proposals out there. And I think it should be accessible to the public, these reports. And that goes back to transparency. So there'll be hopefully less FOIs requests in our town hall, and people are going to be happy and be able to be more offering any positive comments about a development instead of having a lot of negative concerns.
What's an FOI?
Freedom of information.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
And that's something you can just call town hall and fill out the application for. But apparently they've been inundated lately, and they're saying that it's going to require more staff. And I know if I was counselor, I guess I'd be looking into that. I'd be offering to say, hey, I'd like to help with seeing what people are concerned with. Not just to have another staff member, but I would dive into it myself as well.
Yeah. By the way, you mentioned development here, and I'm neutral, or trying to be objective and neutral with all candidates. But I've been here 19 years, and I love some of the development. Qualicum Beach East, the new pub. I go by there every day and see that being built up. I think that's going to be fantastic. The memorials, some of these lots that are vacant and to me eyesores. I'm looking forward to development. Again, I like what you said about making sure the development works. I think of Berwick, that a lot of people were complaining about, and it took for ages. I think it's an asset to our community. Berwick is a nice looking building. As far as buildings go, the architects did a great job, but I commend you on your ideas on, I think I'm sort of, I guess I am a little pro quality development. Anyway,
and also, like you, I'm so happy to see buildings going up, because a lot of these buildings will have residential upstairs and commercial downstairs. And so that really helps with the housing need. As far as commercial, we do have quite a few empty spots, but I'm thinking and hopeful that with the branding that the town of Qualicum Beach and the chamber is working to have a new branding of our community, that would help in attracting more tourists and more visitors, as well as the professionals that will want to move here, and hopefully many of them will be doctors.
Yeah. Oh, yes. You know, I think there's, if I was a doctor, I would love to move here. If you had kids, you've got a quality of life, you've got fishing, hiking, mountains, freshwater, saltwater, all kinds of things compared to, I've lived in large cities, and this is heaven on earth to me. Qualicum Beach, I love this place. And I really am serious about getting the right people in the right positions at council and maintaining that. But
I'd like to also mention that I'm sorry, I'll probably lose some of the soccer moms' votes, but I did have 3 children that were active in soccer, and that was back in the days when we had 3 schools. Now we only have 2 schools, so the population of students are less, but our town has been considering an artificial turf field. And I'm saying, please, let's not do that. Our town gave up plastic bags, so let's not put an artificial turf field to take over that lovely green space that we have by the Civic Center, because that will limit the access of other people using that area, as well as the expense of maintenance and how it's not good for the environment, it's not good for the soil. So no to the artificial turf field. I'm also, while I'm on the no subject, also no to the dry housing over on Jones there. I just feel that in the last general election and for years, we've talked about affordable housing for young and old, for rent and for sale, as well as supportive housing for those with health issues, mental health issues. And as council, we should always be proactive and have spots available or spots in consideration. It is not wait to the last minute when it's the coldest day of the year that we're going to talk about supportive housing for the homeless, or not right now, just because we have a provincial grant that needs to be put in place somewhere, that we're going to put it with the public works yard over at the Jones Avenue there. I think one of the things we could be looking at and should have been looking at is therapeutic farms. This is something that Portugal has 60 of them. And locally, I've had this thought, we should consider, I mean, Mindy Farms, for instance, is for sale. If it's possible that we could put that supportive housing there, have a farm manager, so the people that are living there, meaning the homeless that are going to be moved in there, that they will have a warm meal, a roof over their head, they'll be scheduled to work on the farm, and they can have a sense of pride in working with nature and producing something that they can take to the market without having to be integrated into society right away. And hopefully it might be a transition house for them.
We're up to the time, but I want this to be neutral, but I sort of like that idea because I grew up on a chicken farm, or I was in the town, but spent most of my days on a chicken farm. And I see the value of being on a farm, and I like that idea of the therapy. And I like that location. And I guess if I'm, for the purpose of these, it's really not to promote 1 or 2 ideas, but I sort of like that. I hadn't heard that one before, but I want to go ahead.
I just want to add one more thing. I know Daniel did a great presentation about carbon footprint of the public works vehicles coming out of the airport. And I'm sure the Chartwell residents may not want the public works there at the airport, but surely we have some other leveled ground that we can put the public works yard at. And when we talk about carbon footprint, well, because of COVID right now, that is a big concern because it's only 1 person per vehicle. But we have talked about electric vehicles. So hopefully we don't have to worry about carbon footprint. So the trucks can be a little further away. And I know they said the public works yard was in the OCP from 2006, but we make amendments to that, to the OCP. And like, for example, at the Eagle Crest estate situation, we're doing an amendment to the OCP. And that, you know, that property does not have public enjoyment. It's only allowed for 2 housing units right now. So they would like to allow 20, which is fine. There more people can enjoy that space. But there at the Jones Avenue there, we have lots of hikers and joggers, and it's for public well-being. And
the dog park is adjacent there. But I'm going to have to end this here at this point, Jean. Great points, by the way. And by the way, I'm not endorsing, I've agreed with some of her points, and some things have come up. I'm not endorsing any one candidate, but I like some of those points, and I think they maybe should be considered by any candidate that gets into the point.
And I just want to say that I don't have a platform where I'm going to be the autocratic ruler and it's my way or no way. It's all about working with you.
That would be good. That would be good.
And so everyone and anyone, feel free to ask me any questions about your concerns in our community. I hope I have your support and I can count on your vote. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Jean. Bye for now.